All right, we're live. Welcome to Awesome Dynamics Show, the webinar where we tell you how to fix your online presence, whether it's your website, your SEO, online marketing, etc. Today I have two of four guests, I believe. We'll start with, well, first I'll introduce myself. I'm Paul DeWarien with Awesome Dynamic. I'm the owner and president. And with me today, right now, I have Blake and Terry. In that order, you guys want to introduce yourselves and remember to pass on to the next person. Blake, go ahead.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Blake from Deerfield Beach, Florida, and I'm happy to be here. On to you, Terry.
Well, hi everybody. Terry from beautiful Vernon Hills, Illinois, and I'm the director of sales. I want to welcome everybody here, and right back to you, Paul.
All right. Thank you, Terry. We also will have Robin Mordini joining us in just a moment from Highland Park. She's just wrapping up a consulting call with one of our clients out in Pennsylvania. We also have Paul Fiorelli, who's trying to get into the webinar. He actually has some great information to share with us for My Guy Home Inspections, which is one of the websites that we're going to review today. Just to review what we do at Awesome Dynamic, let me get my screens set up here. Awesome Dynamic, we're just going to run down some of the different services that we have. Let me share my screen here, and I'll make sure that I'm broadcasting. We do mobile-friendly web design, which is called responsive web design. We do search engine optimization, which is getting your business on Google. We also do Amazon seller consulting, which is getting your product seen by millions on Amazon. And then we also do Google Street View, which is a virtual tour of your business on Google. Just to scroll down a bit here, we actually added all of our reviews. Right. Hey, Paul, I can hear you. If you wouldn't mind, put yourself on mute for just a moment. I'm going to finish up this little monologue. All right.
I'm trying to hear you, Paul. You can hear me, but I can't hear you very well.
That's all right. Just turn up your speakers, and if you wouldn't mind, hit your mute button for a moment. If you hover over the screen. All right, I'll continue on my thing here. Upcoming webinars, we of course do this every single Thursday at 12:30 or 3 o'clock. 12:30 to 3 o'clock every Thursday. Sorry about that. You can watch all of our past webinars here. Right here's the link to watch all the past webinars. We have show notes that Blake puts together every single week. And then we also have upcoming live events. We had our review party yesterday at Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Thank you to Jim Starwalt with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Our next one that's scheduled is April 20th in McHenry at what was it? Furniture by John. And that's a nighttime one from 7 to 8, so we'll have to get that typo fixed up there. But you can click on this link, and you can join or register for that review party where we teach you how to get 5-star reviews from your happy customers. Moving right along here, you can get on our awesome list. You just sign up with your name and email address, and we'll send you information about our free marketing webinars, our review parties coming up, any speaking engagements that I'm doing, and also valuable tips on how to improve your presence online. So you can see that that's always going to be, that'll be an email that we send out once weekly. You can see our whole staff here. You can see me, Terry, who introduced himself, Blake, and Robin, who will be joining us soon. And let's see here. We also wanted to, Paul Fiorelli has joined us, so I'm going to go ahead and have him introduce himself. Paul, go ahead and take yourself off mute by clicking that button.
Got it, Paul.
Good. And I'll put you up on the screen. So go ahead and introduce yourself and your business real quick if you don't mind.
Yep, Paul Fiorelli from Fiorelli Graphics and Printing here in Libertyville. And we're a complete in-house graphic design studio and a digital print shop. How's that?
That's good. That's good. So today, Terry, I wanted to flip it back to you. Oh, wait, here's Robin. Robin, everybody's coming in. There we go. Robin, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. Did I make it just in time to introduce myself?
You did for me.
I would do the SEO for Awesome Dynamic. I've been doing that for about a little over 2 years now. And yeah, I'm just getting your sites higher up on Google.
That's right. All right, so going back to, we have a question. A couple of things I need to address here. How do I turn on my webcam? Asks Eric Yost. So Eric Yost, we actually saw him yesterday at the review party. Let me flip back to our my screen here. He asked how to turn on his webcam. Eric, when you're participating as a participant, you won't be able to interact with us vocally or through video here, but you are able to post questions, and we're able to answer those questions through there. So the same format that you used here, you can post a question, and we'll be able to take a look at those questions and answer them right on the webinar. All right. That being said, you, Eric, are our featured one of our feature websites that we're going to review today to see if we can give you some advice on how to improve your presence on Google. And Terry, I think you spoke with Paul Fiorelli about putting together a concept for the design as well. Is that right, Terry?
Correct.
All right. What's Eric's current website?
Is myguyhomeinspections.com.
And I see that the Bookbridge logo.
All right. And Paul, if you wouldn't mind, we're getting some of your background noise, so if you're not talking, if you wouldn't mind putting in,
Sure.
hitting the mute button, that'd be great. Inspections.com. I got it right this time. Fantastic. All right, so you took a look at this. Let's do our first impressions. Terry, do you want to take a crack at it this time?
Yeah. Well, the first thing that I'm noticing right away is I don't have really a call to action up top. I see call today and sort of in the middle, name, address, phone number, that kind of thing up top. That's the first thing that's striking me as I look at it. I like the picture on the front, but those things are really important and something that's definitely needs to be adjusted. Phone number I see up in the left-hand corner, but no call to action up top, and all that information I think should probably be bigger and probably more up on the right side on the top.
All right, fantastic. A couple of other things that I noticed is right here. Oh, I just got a text message from someone else who's is online, but I don't know how to post questions. So Kathy Amin from the Picnic Basket, she just sent me a text message saying that she's on, but she doesn't know how to post questions. So Kathy, you can go ahead and just text me as you are. That's just fine, and I'll go ahead and answer your questions as you're texting them into us. So thank you so much for joining us today. But Terry, you made some really good points right here. The phone number is actually at the top, but it's very, very tiny. So it's good that he's got it there, but it wasn't completely obvious, and that's a problem. So we want to make sure that that phone number is much larger and it's easier to see. Address, so we know that you're local. We don't see that anywhere up here, so that's important. The menu here, the navigation menu, statistically, people are going to want to see that on either centered or on the left, but it's kind of very subdued here, so it's very hard to see on the background. So you might want to punch this up a little bit to make it easier to read and know that there's something there to click on. You mentioned call to action, Terry. He does have a call to action here with this call today, but again, it's very subdued and very hard to see. So we want to punch that up a little bit. That's the one thing we want them to do when they come to the website is click on that call to action to contact you, so this way you have a chance to do some business. Excuse me. Kathy mentioned something, Picnic Bass. She said, got it and thanks, so she knows to ask questions through there. Robin, I want to get your first impressions of the site. You want to take a crack at some of the different things that you see right away?
Yeah, I like that the logo is on the shirt of that guy on the front page. I'd probably put at least 3 slides in there, and I think you said one of your competitive advantages was you had 2 inspectors at one time, so maybe have a slide with a few inspectors saying saving you time. And then the color scheme is really coherent. I would say match that same kind of scheme to your Facebook page, any email blast that you send out, your business cards, so everything matches. I'd say the font's a little bit small. If we looked at the mobile, if it's mobile friendly, we could definitely see if that's an issue. Well, yeah, we can visually see it here. So what Paul's doing is making the website appear, if you make it smaller on your browser, it makes it look like how it would show up on a phone. And every phone's different, but this just gives you a general look of how the website would be different. See how everything's stacked on top of each other instead. So the way you can tell what your score is for mobile is you just do the mobile friendly test. This is a little tool by Google. It's free. You just type in your website and it lets you know. And you know, the trend in SEO right now is that people are moving away from desktop, and it's more than half on average are making purchases or getting information or finding your address or using Google Maps through their phone. So if your desktop site looks great, but your mobile site is not 100% functional, you could be losing tons of customers. I mean, that's usually more than half of your customers are looking at your page that way. Okay, so this one gives you basically a thumbs up or a thumbs down, the mobile friendly test. We can get more detailed that on Page Speed Insights. And yeah, we can see that, yes, you passed the test, but you're at 39 out of 100. So you want to improve that score by making sure all of your images load quickly and they all have the correct file names. So you don't want to just name pictures on your site, you know, picture 1, picture 2. You want to make sure you name your any of your pictures with see it says my guy 1, my guy 2. You want to name those something with your keyword and something that makes sense for the picture. So that picture right there on the background, I would say, you know, my guy inspector at home in whatever town they're in, and you know, starting the inspection. So you want to make sure you have one keyword or in there naming your picture. That's really what Google's looking for, so it can organize your website. Let's see. A couple other things. These things are more technical things that you want to tell your website provider to fix. So just let them know that those things are missing on your site and they need to be fixed. Anything in red. The yellow is more like optional, but you still want to fix them to get a higher score. And it looks like you have a few green down there, the 2 past rules, so you can see them. Okay, you don't have any landing page redirects, and your server response time. Okay, so your site loads quick, and people are not having to go to like 3 different pages on your site in order to get to the right one. So basically, another one I often see on here, it's not on your site, but some people have the buttons too close together and the font too small. So if you think on the computer, on a desktop, you're just clicking with your mouse. So that's easier and more accurate. When you're on your phone, you know, if you have larger fingers, it's hard to click on the different links if they're too close together. So you want to make sure they're spread out, and it looks like you're doing a good job of that there on the preview. Desktop is 50 out of 100, which is actually not bad. It actually turns green. Do you know what number it turns green, Paul?
I think it's around 75 it turns it green. So I think once you get past north of 55 or 60 it turns orange, and then once you get north of 75 it starts turning green. It's either 75 or 80.
Yeah, so you definitely want to improve your score by doing these suggestions that Google has put forward here. But if we go back to the site, let's just take a quick look at other items like the contact page. I always like to take a look at.
And then right after you finish your review, Robin, I'm going to let Paul Fiorelli jump in and give us some tips too. So continue, though.
Yeah, I like that you have your hours there and the appointment. It looks like you have the town, but not the actual address. So that's definitely one you want to put in there. If it's your home address, that's where it gets a little trickier. But if you want to rank on Google locally, you're going to have some sort of address in there. All right. So if you want to pop up for home inspections, when someone types it in Google, you need to connect it to your Google Plus page or Google My Business page.
And he was actually at the review party yesterday. He said that he was getting some pretty good feed or pretty good leads from Google because he's showing up for different things. We can take a look at his Google My Business presence in a moment. I also got a question come in from Kathy at the Picnic Basket. He said Picnic Basket mobile site tested good. Gourmet Foodworks not so good. Text too small, 2 links too close together, 3 mobile viewport not set. So just so everyone that's viewing knows, we're actually redoing both sites for Picnic Basket and Gourmet Foodworks. Your Picnic Basket mobile site is scoring good, but that's a independent mobile site. Your new site will be completely responsive like this, where it actually takes the exact same content and it just stacks it and changes it based on the device. So you're going to get good scores, decent scores across the board. And you'll score. I think our sites, when we finish them, end up with like 50 to 55 on mobile and 65 to 70 on desktop after we finish them. And then, of course, there's all this SEO we can get into to continue to make improvements. Paul, if you want to unmute yourself there and give us a little insight into what you think on the My Guy home inspections, and then Kathy, we'll talk about some of your different scores in a moment once we finish with the My Guy home inspections. Paul, you want to take it away?
Sure. First impression is I like the site. From a graphic design point of view, it's very clean. It's easy to see. Where you could improve on this, though, is when I first look at it, I see this big. It's a very nice photograph. The quality of your imagery is great. Like Robin said, I really like the logo being used on the jacket or the shirt of the exactly of that frame. Now, what I would do is say that you've got 3 different blues. You got a purple, it looks like, in your My Guy logo, and the blue at your header bar where your phone number is, as well as your icons, your lower icons, home inspections, radon testing. You've got 3 different blues. I don't mind mixing blues together, 1 or 2, but when you start to incorporate multiple blues, it gets a little bit busy. You want your eye to be able to see a contrast, yet not every page that you're going on seeing a different blue. Your logo, I feel, is lost up in the top left. It's also sitting too close to that break. Now, what I would suggest you do is either darken that screen tint behind there and reverse out your logo. A good idea would be to have your logo in 2 different types of formats, one where it can be used against a dark background and one where it can be used against a light background. This one's kind of right in the middle. It's too dark to actually be seen. And it's not light enough that if you put it in reverse type, which would mean your icon would be white, that would stand out either. So in your masthead up there, the first thing I would do is increase the size of the logo, because when you first go on this page, if I sit back like this and I'm looking, I have no idea who the company is. I have to kind of look to see My Guy. I see it on his shirt. That's more visible than it is up on your masthead. Also, your navigation is lost completely. I agree with, I think Paul mentioned that before. You want to pump that out because people want to see what it is you have to offer. You might want to consider enlarging. You have plenty of real estate there to work with. Your logo and your navigation, as I said, are lost, but maybe when you mouse over to whatever that particular category is, let's say it's services, that pops out in the blue. Now, those are your pull downs. Okay, I didn't see that. But you've got, like I said, you've got a really clean site here. You may want to think about eliminating, this is just a suggestion now, taking a little bit of that, the height of that image, cropping it down to allow a little bit more of the home inspection, the radon testing. I don't know what the third one is behind it, Paul, because the window.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Radon testing and mold testing.
Okay. Those are important features. If they weren't, you wouldn't have them up there. I'd kick those up a little bit. Now, in my window, they're getting cropped right at the second line as far as viewing.
Right. It is for me, too. But, Paul, you and I have big screens, don't we?
That's correct. And I have to squint to see that little bit of type. You don't have to tell the full story, but there should be enough type visible and legible enough. If you see, I got glasses hanging down right now. I don't like to wear them, but on this one I would need magnifying glasses in order to read that small type. So I would increase the size of the type. It doesn't have to be spread out, but so that first sentence or two really is legible and captures their attention. You're following me so far, Paul? I mean, you.
Yeah, absolutely. You're doing a great
Now
job.
the same with stay on that home page for a home guy inspection service. Providing that could all be my guy inspection service is fine. It's that second line that needs to be larger as well. I like where you placed it, which is in that black on this page. If you can hold this page for a second.
I don't know if it'll let me, but I'll
that
try.
white type. Always
Right.
keep in mind that reverse type is more difficult for the human eye to read than black type on a white background. But because you laid this over that door, which is a dark area, that's good. But I'd still like to see that type larger. And if it was larger and that type went over to the white part of the sill, then it's no longer effective. See this type right here on the home page? It's lost in that pillar. I can't read that word. I'm going to see. Are just a phone. I mean, I can now. I have my glasses on. I sit closer. But for the most part, you could kick that up several point size. You're not going to really lose the effect of the image. So definitely, overall, your type, I think, is difficult for the visitor to see. And I'd like to see the window, as I said before, shortened up a bit so you can increase the size of home inspection, radon testing, whatever the other one is, mold testing.
Right.
Other than that, I think that this it's a nice, clean, visible, easy to follow website. But the key thing is, who are you, and where do I go from here? So these things, as I said before, I could definitely see an improvement on.
Right.
Other than that, go to another page, Paul, if you don't mind, an underlying page.
No, go to the About page here.
All right.
This is Eric right here.
All right. Is Eric in here? Is he watching?
Yeah, he's watching right now.
Okay, Eric, on your My Guy up there, this is a perfect example where I would take your logo, I would pull it away from the left side. You're pushed way off. Same with your navigation. Bring that in a little bit more. And maybe the words My Guy is reversed out on this one. That's where their logo is going to pop out a lot more.
Just like it is on a shirt there.
Correct. I might even keep the roof outline because there's a nice contrast. That black and that blue work, but the purple against the blue it doesn't pop out as much. You can also see home inspection services. That's kind of lost there. I've even got my glasses on now, and I'm having a difficult time reading. That's what you need them to know. If I looked at this page, who are we? I see a nice picture of Eric. I see a little bit of copy, but I still, once again, I see My Guy, but I don't know what My Guy means. Are you a roofing company? Until I see the small type that says Home Inspection Services, I might take, and I'm going to break the format of your logo, I may take that Home Inspection Services and run that baseline with My Guy, but much larger across the middle of the page. Not too big. It's not. You don't want it to dominate your logo. Not there, Paul. Off to the left, right about there. You'd be starting there.
Oh, I see. So
drag that out exactly somewhere in there, and I would reverse that out in white. So you got My Guy Home Inspection Services Inc. You're messing with your own logo, but I think it's going to be a lot more effective because right away when you get to this page, you see that logo and you see what it is you do. Then they can read about who you are, and that should be the standard across every underlying page. Same thing with Home About Services, pushed way over too far to the right now. I bring that in. I'd almost want to align that over your box because, see, your eye right now, or my eye, is focused on that white box in the middle of the page. I have to look over to the right to see your navigation, look over to the left to see your logo. I'd rather see everything where my eye is focused directly on the center of attention, which is the white framed box in the middle.
Right.
Outside of that, as I said before, it's clean. You may even want to just take a look at what this page would look like without that gray in the background. Okay, I'm not that gray, Paul, but I'm talking about the outside window, so then it doesn't seem so confined.
This area right here.
Correct. What you're doing is you're relieving some of that visual, I don't know, strain on your eyes where everything is white. White is good. Remember, the cleaner the better, especially when you're talking about websites, because monitors show colors in different ways. This may come up purple on that background on some monitors. So I like the cleanliness of like your white background here, and I wouldn't mind even seeing, and maybe Eric, you could take a look at it, what it looks like without that gray box and just letting the white run off. outside of that, as I said, it's a good-looking site. Your text could stand to be a little bit larger. This body copy here is pretty good. I don't have a problem with that at all. Outside of that, you've done a good job with this site.
All right. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for your critique. Another couple of things, the fact that you have, let's see, I'm going to go back to your home page. You have home inspections, radon testing, mold testing, and you have individual services for that. That's fantastic because this tells Google that this is what this particular page is about. You have a picture in here, which is awesome. I'm just going to inspect this picture real quick, see if you have any sort of keywords in the picture
You're
name.
at a website inspector.
Yes, yes. So you're a home inspector. I'm a website inspector here, and we can see that the file doesn't have a discernible. It says flying glass inspects a HO and then a whole bunch of numbers and .jpeg. So that's something that that could be improved there. Is there any alternative text in here? And it looks like no. So that's something that could be added to add some additional SEO value. If I were to inspect this entire page, so this should be a page probably about home inspections, all right? And let's say that's the keyword we want to juice on this page. So if I look at the page source and I type in home inspections, how many times am I seeing that word? Well, I see it 11 times, and I see that up here on the right. But are we telling Google in the ways that they need to know? So home inspections with an S. We have it here in the meta title, which is good. Let's take a look at the description. Let's see.
And try it without the S as well. I think there was more instances of that.
Without the S, yeah. But you can see the description of the page. We could see that it's blank, so nothing was filled out here. Let's see. Do we know what the main keyword focused? Okay, so keyword doesn't show up on here, which means that that tag isn't in there to tell Google what keyword this page is about. Let's see if you have a H1, which is a heading 1 on the page. Good. And home inspections is in there, so you want to make sure that if it's the version with the S or without the S, that it's consistent and really focused for this particular page on your site. And I'm not seeing that focus there. Let's see.
So the average person knows that this page is about home inspections, but Google doesn't know it's about home inspections, which means it won't pop up when you Google it.
Right. So if somebody else has a much better optimized page for home inspections with an S than you do, they're going to show up much more prominently than you will in your local area. So having this correctly optimized, there's a 20-point checklist that we have, and you can actually find it on our blog. Robin, do you want to chat that link into the chat for this, and then also get it to Blake so he can put it in the show notes?
Sure. But I would just say the number one thing you can start working on today is just adding more content. So you need a minimum of 300 to 600 words for every service page.
Right. And how many words do we have here, do you think?
Probably about 150, 175.
I think he's over 200. So one quick way to do that, we're going to open up Microsoft Word. All right. Let me see.
It's in white, I think. Yeah.
It's all in white? Is that why I can't see it?
I think so.
Let's see if I can increase the size here. Okay, so here's all the words. And word count, I was right. Well, 240 words. So we're not hitting the 300. So, yeah, we'd like to see 300 minimum, 600 ideal. So, by the way, wanted to make mention that Jennifer Sauer from Walter Joseph Group has joined us. She's on the webinar too, so welcome. She was asking Paul what Paul Fiorelli thinks of their site, but you did the design in the site, Paul. So, do you want to critique your own work?
Wait, which site? Hey, by the way, I just want to go back to this page we have up right now. That font that I'm looking at right now, size-wise, is a nice size for your body copy. I don't mean everything has to be that large, but as opposed to what we've been looking at, I can see that without my glasses on sitting from right back here. And I think that's key in a website. It might add more pages, a little bit more room, but for the most part, you want people to be, able to read that.
So you can see the difference in size there. Yeah, so Paul, I was saying that Jennifer Sauer from Walter Joseph Group, remember doing that?
Hi, Jennifer.
Yeah.
I like the site.
I think she does like it. She's excited to get started in her SEO. She just emailed me, I think it was last night or this morning. So, by the way, Robin just sent me the blog. So if you want to know how to optimize a particular page on your website, this is the blog that we have, complete blog article checklist for SEO ranking. Robin created this blog, so we have the checklist of all the different things you should be considering. So we have this information right on our website, awesomedynamic.com. If you go to the blog, it's right there. Robin put it in the chat for this Google Hangout, but you can also go back to the show notes in this webinar, see it there, or just email me and I'll shoot you a copy of the blog back. But
yeah, and just to note, there have been a few changes even since then. Google's always updating. So, for example, this 140 to 180, it's now it's something like 155 now. The title, you can't go over I think it's like 60 characters. It's very, very short. So if you have long titles on your website for your blogs or for your page titles, that's something that can be shortened down. And yeah, so you want to just make sure that you're always staying up to date with the most current information. And even though this is a current article, there's been even more updates since then.
when did you publish this article, Robin?
This one was in August.
All right, so you have to throw that on your list to update. But this, going back to my guy, Paul, were you able to do a different design? I know that's a concept we talked about, taking the design and changing it a little bit. Was that something you were able to do? Paul, you're on mute. There you go.
How about now? Got it?
Yes.
No, I don't have one, and typically we had talked about me taking a site and actually modifying it. The changes on this site were so minimal that I didn't think that, and I think I kind of explained what I was looking at. I'm happy to revise a site completely if I think that there's major improvements needed. I do not think that this site needs major improvements, just some tweaking, a little bit more better sizing and better color use. But no, I do not have something to compare it to. I think Terry sent me this one, and when he sent it to me, I was talking with Dan, because typically what we would like to do each week is show you somebody's current site and then what I would suggest from a visual point of view to improve it. Just like Paul and Robin and Terry do, is telling you how to improve your SEO. I'd like to be able to suggest ways to improve from a visual point of view. This one I didn't need to do much to, so it didn't really feel it was necessary. When Terry sent this to me, I thought, well, where's the junky website I'm supposed to look at it fix? But this one was not. This didn't fit into that category.
All right. Well, thank you, Paul. Speaking of websites that need some improvement, Kathy Amin from the Picnic Basket is with us on the webinar here, and we had a meeting. Terry and I had a meeting with her. Was it a couple days ago, Terry?
Yep.
And I just can't keep track of my days in the week. It's been going so fast.
I believe it was Monday.
Wanted to show, Paul, you had created a design for Gourmet Foodworks a while back. I'm gonna see if I can pull that.
2 years ago. By the way, great sandwiches there.
Oh,
for
yeah.
all listening.
My favorite's the Munster, the Midway. I know Terry loves that. What is it? The
Broccoli cashew salad.
Oh yeah, very delicious.
Yep.
So this is the design that you had created, Paul, and we had put some of this together, and we never actually got this thing launched live. We can see what the current live site looks like. So this is the one that we're working on replacing. This is the design. So this is what they have currently. This is what Paul Fiorelli had created a design for. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago.
No, I think it's actually longer than that.
Yes.
And 4 or 5 years ago.
We had a meeting with Kathy and her husband Ahmed, and we talked about the different things that they wanted to bring to the site. And one of the things that we did was come up with a design based on what some of the different things that we talked about. Let me pull up the here, I have it here. Responsive Gourmet Foodworks. So Nathan and I kind of played around with some of the different ideas, and we took some elements that Paul, you had used in some other designs from Big Top Tents, and I also took that logo. If you notice, their logo is this blue and It's heavy, and I remember Ahmed saying, I don't want the blue. I want something that's really classy, clean. It's kind of etched in there. It has a more elegant look. And the reason I'm bringing this up, Paul, is because we just talked to Ahmed this afternoon, and he kind of liked my starting idea, my horrible attempt at doing graphics because I'm not good at it. But I basically knocked out all the blue, and I just put a nice gold stroke around this whole thing, and I took that little chef's hat, and rather than making the logo so tall, I threw this little piece over to the right, and he was very happy with how this looked. But I know that you can do a much better job of making this look more classy. So wanted to know if you had any ideas on that in just a moment. The other thing that we did, he told me you just want big, bright, beautiful pictures of their of different catering events and food. So we put these different items in there as placeholders, but they really liked the classy feel of what they had here. So I wanted you to kind of further your comments on what you think they can do to further this design. And then I also wanted Robin to weigh in on some of the SEO implications of not having any words on the page as well. So go ahead, Paul, with your evaluation.
Okay. Well, first off, I don't dislike what you've tried to do here, Paul, but to make it more subdued like that, yet still stand out, what I'd like to see is almost an embossed look. Don't put a gold frame around it because it makes it look a little busy, like it's electric. Instead, and I can show you this. I'm happy to do this for them. Take the logo and create an embossed look where it feels as though it's been imprinted into the background. It would actually be it's easier to show you than to describe to you, but it's subdued. Yet it will still work, I think, quite well. I don't have any problem with how clean this one is. I want to go back to the site that we did 4 years ago just to qualify. This one. This is back before responsive design was even being thought about, and actually it contradicts a lot of what I just said earlier about small type and everything being kind of focused right there in the middle. I don't dislike this site, but it's very difficult for me to read. Nobody's going to read all that copy that's sitting down there. So I like where you've gone with just the imagery because that's important. But I do like the way this logo stands out here, Gourmet Food Works. I know immediately it's a gourmet food company. If you go back to now the new one that you're working on, Paul.
Oops. There we go. There we go.
It's a little bit lost in there. I'm not quite sure if for instance, and I'm being real honest, do you know that's a chef's hat? It could be an LJ or some sort of a symbol. So it's not to say that there's anything wrong with the logo. I like the logo a lot. But I think I can show you a way that we can utilize that logo where it still maintains the punch that it did on the blue, even though I didn't like that much. Make it more subdued as far as the color, but still make it prominent so they know it's gourmet foods. They know that that's a bowl and a hand stirring, and they know that that's a chef's hat over on the right. As far as the copy, here's a perfect example where you can have smaller, thinner copy like you do over there in the address line. I don't dislike that because it's on a clean white background. It's not in a color. It's not being reversed out. So here's where a sample of using black type. I don't even know if it's black. It looks like it's gray, Paul. Is it gray?
The type is, I think it's a gray color right here. Yes.
Okay, that's fine. I also notice in your navigation here, are there colors on those different heads?
No. We were just trying to. We didn't get that
far.
far.
In blue and the others are in black.
I think the hover in blue, but we actually the site before we converted all this stuff, we haven't gotten to changing all the elements in the back end.
I see.
So yeah, it is still blue, but we just wanted to get the generic concept going to see if we were heading in the right direction.
As far as your image cropping, the one on the bottom right, not a problem. These are all nice photographs. I really like having the food there because that's what gourmet foods is all about. I would that window, the glass window at the top of the bottom right photograph. I might crop that one a little bit different so it doesn't just disappear into the background. At least on my screen, that one looks like it's been partially outlined. You can't see the seam.
I was just thinking the same thing.
That's right. Yep. So in that one, you might want to crop it or darken that part of the image up just so it squares off that image a little bit more. I like it being on an angle like that just to kind of throw things off.
One of the things they said when I met with them is they want people to understand that they did more than just food. They handle the setup, they handle all the different tables and chairs that you could rent. They handle the whole shot from beginning to end. So one of the things that I was trying to accomplish through at least the imagery here, which we need to replace, is just that they do more. That here's the silverware. We saw the wine glasses. All that stuff is something that they can provide. We could see the venue and the decorations in this slide. Then in this one, we could see some of the detail orientation, the detail-oriented food layout. So just getting into some of the different aspects visually without saying any words, we're already getting the feel that they do a lot of different things.
Sure.
Kathy has actually been texting me a couple of things. Wanted to say a couple of things she said. She said that she thinks the color or the logo needs more color. She also said she really likes that embossed idea that you had, and that her husband Amin was talking about something very similar this morning. She also said that that was just a stock photo and we would change that photo. And I'm guessing she's referring to the one that's right here with the iStock all over it. But I also want to make mention that all the photos you see on the screen right this second are actually one of her competitors' photos that they sent over to us. So we don't want to use any of these photos for Gourmet Foodworks, but I saw how fabulous these photos were from one of her competitors, and I knew they met exactly the expectation that Ahmed had. So I wanted to show both Kathy and Ahmed, this is the look and feel you're looking for. So either we need to find stock photos that look like this, or we need to get a professional photographer out there to create that feeling with their food and their tables and their decorations.
Absolutely. I can't agree more and emphasize more the importance of having a quality photograph. I've seen some really beautiful sites, and you have a low res or one that's been taken with their smartphone, and that's been posted in there, and that can draw as much negative attention and take away from everything else design-wise that you've put all this time and money and investment into, and one or two photographs can basically destroy an entire site. I've also seen just the opposite, where the design or the mechanics of the site aren't all that great, but they've got some beautiful imagery, and I think the quality of the image is important, if not the most important thing, next to telling people immediately who you are and what it is you do.
Right.
So I really agree with you, Paul.
So Kathy's actually texted me a photo. This is kind of cool, getting a little interactive here. So she sent me this photo. And this is, I don't know if this is somebody's home, but this is something, Kathy, when you take your pictures, I would recommend that you take them wider than smaller, so this way we can have more opportunity to crop things out of the picture, especially if you have a high resolution. Also, if you can get there before people show up and you get them all out of the picture, then we can really, you notice on the, let me go back to this picture here. This picture, the other one that's going to show up on the top here, their photographer probably told everybody, I'm taking a picture, I need everyone to get out of the picture so I can get this one really solid photo. And the photographer probably framed it as, it's for your collection. Or even this one, you see the people are way in the background there, so they don't even really show up in the way. So sometimes it's just the staging of the photo itself can really have a big difference. But she said she has lots of photos to share with us, and I'm sure you do, Kathy. So please send those over to Nathan, and then he can start filtering through those and see what we can do. Robin, want you to jump in, if you would, and talk a little bit about, I saw you on your screen evaluating their old site, the one that's currently live site, and what you think about that compared to what we're about to build.
Sure. Well, first off, it was just a couple updates, so I updated the blog. So if you have that link from the chat box, that should be 100%.
Look at that, live blog updating right on the webinar.
Yeah. And yeah, I would say that the new one looks a lot better, a lot cleaner. Maybe even along the lines of, you want to make sure people know you have other services. Maybe even make that a separate service page, saying event planning, or event setup or something like that, where you have You let them know what other items, or it could be under other services. So you have your menus, you have your food, and then you have all the other things that you offer. So if we go back to the new site, do you want me to do the old site or the new site?
Well, here I'll broadcast my screen here. All right. Let's go to the new site. Take
Okay,
it away.
so the reason why it's important to have text on your home page is because even though you are in a visual industry, is because you want people to move past the home page here. So Google recommends as of right now, or other companies, they recommend that Google likes about 1,500 words on your homepage. And I know that can kind of cloud up your homepage here, but if you do it in a visually appealing way, by breaking up by paragraphs, breaking it up like a magazine layout, where you can easily scroll down, have a lot of visuals, a lot of pictures, videos even. You're your strongest salesperson for your business. So when someone walks in your door and says, okay, I want to work with you guys, or they're getting just prices and comparison shopping, the first thing you do is you sit them down and they get to know you and your personality. So how can you put that on your website? Well, you can take a video of yourself explaining your services, and a lot of people will prefer to watch the video over reading, all the pages on your site. So that's a quick way to that's good for humans, and it's also good for search engines that you have that video on there. So I would say, so if we go under menus or book your occasion, well, I know you said the home page, but
Yeah, there's not
there's a
much
drop
to
down. Yeah,
see
okay.
in the rest of the site. So
Okay, so yeah, with the homepage, the text is important because it will tell Google and communicate to Google, okay, I have this website. It's all about these words. Right now, the Google has the photo technology is in its infancy. So Google can't see that picture and say, okay, this site is all about food, and this site is all about catering. You have to put those actual words in there. So you have to name the pictures, with the word catering or the word gourmet food. And then you would put those in the file name has to be named correctly, so not file, picture one, picture two, it has to have the whole keyword in there, and then the alt tag as well.
wanted to show this is Jennifer Sauer from Walter Joseph Group is on the webinar as well, and wanted to bring up her website. This is one that Paul Fiorelli has designed, and we did put together, and we can see some of those. We see that we have at least a beginnings of some decent text on the page. We also see with the pictures we have some words that help set the mood for what we're supposed to be thinking about as we're getting that first 3 to 5 seconds of impression. So, for a simple process, one of our largest charities in the county. So she's got this here. I think one of the best places we've been able to accomplish this is on the Greenleaf Center. This is one of my favorite examples. And I also want to bring up another one that we just launched the other day. Here we go. Strategically position their major hospitals just minutes away from the tollway. On-site management and maintenance allows you to focus on your business. Turnkey build-out service makes customizing your space easy. And then a map of the Greenleaf Center, and then we're back to climate-controlled storage available to keep your space clutter-free. I think this slideshow, spacious parking lots allow you to serve your patients and clients effectively. They rent space to doctors and dentists and office professionals. So this tells the story in just a few slides of what they do. So Kathy, going back to your news site, we have these different pictures here, and I actually have some ideas with Nathan of different words we might put over these pictures to tell the story of what Gourmet Foodworks is and how they're going to deliver their service above and beyond maybe some of the competition. Bringing up another example here, here's a site that we just launched for Forest Bluff School in sorry, I was distracted by Kathy's comment here. Forest Bluff School in Lake Bluff. We can see that here's the slideshow here, Respect for Emerging Personalities. Beautiful and inspiring materials. Oh, Kathy's just telling me her screen is frozen. So, Kathy, if you go back and watch this video broadcast on YouTube, you'll be able to see everything that's actually happening right now. So, sorry, your screen is frozen. Technology isn't always perfect, unfortunately. But here, again, we get the feeling with the pictures, with the text over the pictures, which helps tell that story right away. See that they got a good start for telling the story here as well. So we have that these different paragraphs starting here, which is great.
Yeah, well, I have a few other ideas besides paragraph text on a homepage. It could be a call to action. You could have them, sign up for, let's say, your email list or something like that. It could be an infographic that has text that's readable. It could be captions for these photos here, or just overlaid on top of the photo, some text. And as long as you can highlight it, that's text that will count towards Google. You could put headers on your paragraphs. All that text counts towards 1,500 words. It could be frequently asked questions. You could have infographics. You'd have videos with a caption underneath. So you could have bullet points. So all different types of different ways to get. Oh, you could have testimonials, reviews, lots of different ideas to get that 1,500 words on your page, besides just writing paragraphs.
Absolutely. Nobody wants to, Paul made a comment earlier, nobody wants to read all these paragraphs, but if you get creative with it, that's fantastic. One thing, I'm up to 572 on our homepage. I just did a little count of the Awesome Dynamic homepage.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to a lot of copy, Paul. I just want to throw that in. But with that first impression, you want to be able to pick up just like keywords in that initial. Just you're at your site right now. You're telling a story here without going into a paragraph, even though you do have a lot of content on here, don't you?
Right. So if I continue to scroll down, I'm telling people why we're awesome. I actually did pictures of the reviews rather than actually embedding the text because I didn't want a duplicate content penalty from Google. But then here's some more text about different upcoming events. And then I have information. I could probably type something about the past webinars. Hey, we have show notes. We feature different businesses. I could type a lot more about some of the benefits of attending the webinars and some of the different things we've covered. Down here, review party. I could talk about what a review party is and why you should attend. So that's more text I could add here. Information about the awesome list, getting on the list. So I could certainly expand on this and maybe offer some different options for different lists. Here I have my featured recent videos. So here's a testimonial from one of our customers, SEO customers. Here's actually our webinar recording from last week, but I could add some more description to these. Here's a couple videos that we posted recently on YouTube and on Facebook, and I can certainly describe why would you want to learn how to update your photos and add a couple bullet points here. So again, I have a lot more opportunity to flush this out with more text, but you can see it's broken up with videos and pictures and text, and I have 572 words on this homepage right now. I'm about a third of the way there.
And if you want to show an example of parallaxes,
I got this one site I just love. Hold on. So one really cool effect that we've been you'll see around the internet a little bit more. There's a site that Paul Fiorelli designed. We did the development on, but for one reason or another, it isn't live. But it's one of our favorite examples that we love to show. It's this MTS Technology Solutions, and we head over to the About MTS. Robin mentioned the idea of what's called a parallax. And essentially, it's a photo that's in the background that looks like it cuts through the page. You can see that we used a technique to put the white text on the background so it doesn't blend into the background. It looks like kind of like a etched tinted glass. But as I scroll down, see how the photo kind of moves down? And the same thing with this one here. So it has this, it's called a parallax effect, where the whole picture cuts across the page and it looks like it's moving in the background, or it's staying still while you're scrolling down the page. So that's another way to add some more text, some more visual interest, and split things up and still make it visually very, very nice and aesthetically pleasing. Let me see. Kathy Amin says, she says, nice, okay, thanks. See if anybody else has anything else to say.
I do, Paul, actually.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Am I on?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. And this actually goes back to Kathy. We were talking about Kathy. Is she back on live? I have a customer that it was actually late last year, came through. We were talking about the importance of photography. And they sell a dog product. I don't know if you can see this.
I'll present your screen. Hold on. Let's see here.
By the way, Paul, I sent you an image a few minutes ago.
Okay. Well, go ahead. I get you're on camera now.
Okay. So anyhow, this was they sell a gourmet dog food, very expensive dog food, and we redesigned their website and we did their marketing materials, and this was basically their logo up here, down here, and they had this basically stock photograph, but it's very low res, and you can tell that the artist mixed in. You can see the size of the chicken as opposed to the dog. What we did is they were unhappy with this image, but they didn't want to go out and spend a fortune and hire a professional photographer. So I said that I would be happy to help them. They gave me some images that they took with their own camera. I didn't like the quality of it, so I just basically went out in my front yard. And Paul, do you have that image I just emailed you?
Yes, I do. I'll go ahead and put it on, present it to everybody now. So if you click on my screen, we got the image set up.
I'm not offering my services as a photographer, but we do photography in-house as well. We're not professional photographers, but natural lighting is critical. And I basically went out in my front yard. Paul's gonna. Did you post that, Paul? Oh, there it is. And I went to the store, picked up some salmon, the meat. These are the ingredients that they basically use to make those meatballs that you see in the middle. That's the dog food. Once again, it's very expensive dog food. We took their magnets, and basically what they do is they hang these things up in the stores on the freezers that carry this product. Taking the same graphics and a decent photograph, we created, I gotta put my window in here, so this image. It's that same image. We've used it on their website, the clarity is beautiful. I mean, you almost want to eat it yourself, and I'm not a dog. If you can get by the smell, it's really very, very good. But the point I'm making is we get these nice-looking sites or brochures, and people will bring us photography like this, and then I have to explain to them why the printing or why the website doesn't look as good, and it's because the photography isn't that appealing. This was very simple. I went outside. Now, I'm in Kathy's, I'm not suggesting Kathy go outside and set up a table. If she doesn't have the proper photography or lighting equipment, it can make a photograph quite difficult to shoot inside. Fluorescent lighting is the worst thing to use when you're shooting products inside. So hire a photographer. But if you can or can't afford a professional photographer, go ahead and get a camera. And you can even use but take the photographs outside, because it really does make a difference. The quality of the imagery and how it's set up within once again, I want to show this to you because we set this up so it would carry across this way on the entire head of the website. This is a multi-purpose photograph that they're using in their brochures, on their business cards, on their magnets, on their website, and one shot kind of fits all. Just a thought as to how to save money and not have to burden the expense of going all out with professional photography if you don't have the budget to do so.
Great, thank you, Paul. We're coming up at the end of the webinar here, so I want to do a quick promo for Paul Fiorelli. This is his current live website coming up here in a moment. We're actually going to probably launch their new website live next week that will be responsive and updated look and feel. But that's fiorelligraphics.com. fiorelligraphics.com if you are interested in talking with Paul. You can also come and visit awesomedynamic.com for any help with your website, your online presence. That's what we're here for. We'll have another webinar next week. It won't be the same time. It'll be at 12:30 as opposed to 3 o'clock. We do them every Thursday at either 12:30 or 3 o'clock. And if you enjoyed what you have learned today, we ask that for Paul Fiorelli and for Awesome Dynamic, there's this little Review Us button down at the bottom. If you wouldn't mind clicking that, and give us 5 stars and tell us a story about how we were able to help you today. That'll help us grow our business, and we're happy to have provided you great information to help you with your business. So again, just go back to either one of our sites, go down to the bottom, click that review us button. We would appreciate that. Sign up for our webinar, sign up for our email list. We're happy that you joined us today, and thank you for joining us. Goodbye,
Thank you.
everyone.